you've done, I think, a masterful job of involving different community players, stakeholders. Your staff has multiple meetings during the year to involve, community to give their input to help in rearing and educating these children. Was that something that was important for you when you first came in? Because it wasn't something that was here. We were laughing about this. I think you have a committee for everything. You have a safety committee, you have a parent committee, you have a student engagement committee, But I say that to laugh because I think all of those things are necessary because you can't put everything, for everyone. Like I sit on your safety committee and a couple different ones, but I don't sit on everything because I'm not for everything, right? So how did you decide, first of all, to come up with all these committees? And was it important to really engage community the way you've been doing?
So yes, I believe in collective impact, as well as when I say that building on the strengths of people within the collective. This is our community. This is your community. You're a parent. You're a community advocate, activist, and all those things that the roles that you hold, and you bring a unique perspective to what should happen in public education as well as others. And so the only way that a child can be successful is if you have so many players within a community helping to impart in the children so that we can ensure that they're successful. There's a role to play for all of us, our higher ed partners, our corporate partners, families, most importantly, because they're the first teachers to students. And so not one person can, just think about this is an organization that has approximately 16,700 plus children, plus their families. So you think times two. So we're up to almost 36,000 people, plus 3,000 employees, and the overall community. So it's important to uplift and hear the voices of the community and what they want and how they want to impact public education in their community.
And I'm glad that you say that. But I don't think everyone knows how lucky we are to have you. I understand you were honored to be one of the top 25 superintendents to watch in the country.
Yeah, thank you.
But before we go there, I want to point out, right? There's 50 states, right?
Yes.
I know I'm talking to a superintendent, so I know I've been out of school for a little while, but there are 50 states, right?
Sure.
So that means out of the 50 states, there's not even one representative in every state.
Sure.
And then out of those 50 states, there are how many cities? Right? And townships and school districts. So we're probably talking about thousands of school districts.
About 16,000.
16,000 school districts. And you were ranked one of the top 25 to watch. Ask two questions. One, because I'm an advocate of getting you never to leave, right? So my first question is, knowing that you've been, someone to watch, how does it feel when we just point our fingers at you? That's the first question. Then I'll ask the second one. Because we do a lot of finger pointing at you. We don't realize that you have established, top 25 to watch. We've had, since my kids have been and my baby is graduating high school this year. So just in her, from middle school to high school, you were the 5th superintendent she had. The 5th, right? So that's in a 6-year period. She had 5, So how does it feel when we point our fingers at you and we don't recognize what you're doing?
So I'm honored and I thank you for acknowledging that recognition. But I'm no one without this community and my team. And it's because of the hard work of my team and this community's belief in me, I was able to be given this recognition. We were a showcase because of some of the work that we've done around family and community engagement, as well as our strategic planning process. And we have more than 9,000 people involved in our strategic planning process, between being a part of focus groups, steering committee, taking surveys, giving us feedback. We involved everyone. And so I feel humbled, to answer your question directly. I feel grateful, but it's really not about me. It's about the collective work of all of us. And so, and people don't understand the work of a superintendent. Most people don't understand what a superintendent does. I'm just humbled and grateful that I am accessible enough and I am in schools working with, so students and families know who I am for the most part in this community. So I feel honored, and I will use this word because I'm on your show and I know I can say this. I feel blessed to be in this
Amen.
particular seat.
Amen.
However, I know that there's a lot more work that needs to be done to help. I know people that, well, what about the scores? What about all these things? But it's going to take some time of us working together to have real significant changes to happen. And people always say, we want change, but you know what? Don't change me, right?
Yes.
Don't change me.
Yes.
But so I feel grateful. And you know, more so than me, it makes me feel good when I walk in a room, when I'm in some of these, at these national convenings, and people know Allentown and the investments that they want to make in our community. For people to talk about all the assets, and you'd be surprised when I do attend other convenings, people who are alumni of this area who've moved on, they're like, oh, I went to William Allen. They'll race me down at an event. I went and I really want to see this, the district continue to win. And in all the experiences, I just was at an event recently, and there's a woman, she has a foundation. She was like, I went to William Allen, and I heard about the Juilliard School. I want to be a part of that, Dr. Birks. And I live in Florida now. And I'm like, this is fantastic.
And I love that you say that. I want to interrupt for a moment because you mentioned the Juilliard School. Because that was an amazing accomplishment for our school district. I don't think people understand, first of all, how big the Juilliard School is.
Yes.
And for them to partner with our school district, you know, is so huge because it gives our kids an outlet that is not just sports.
Sure.
You know, growing up in Harlem, you know, one of the things Jay-Z used to say, for us to get out of our neighborhood, you either had to have a wicked jump shot or sling a mean crack rock, you know, and you're providing opportunities for these kids to not have to rely on either one of those things, you know. So I wanted to stop there and give you that credit. But you guys are stepping into AI.
Yes, yes.
So I'd love for you to talk to me about what you guys are doing in artificial intelligence. I could have sworn I heard your communications director, Ms. Reese, talking about how you guys have a whole AI into all of the classrooms. Like, what is that?
So, you know, as an organization, as you know, we have to be well-versed as well as have our students prepared for today and tomorrow and for their futures. And so I started, I was a Google Fellow. I was part of an ASU GSV, a Google Fellowship. And we had to identify an area of opportunity that we want to work on as an organization in order to ensure that our students have access to innovative practices and innovative experiences across, in each district selected various projects. So we created an AI Institute. It was a partnership with the Sales University. And so, and our students were able to have access to data analytics, various certifications and credentials as it relates to AI. And it was just amazing having a professor who is a director of an AI institute serve as their professor and be exposed to the latest in Python and all various different it was unbelievable. And again, the certifications they received through Google and other platforms. So we kind of went ahead of ourselves, and we started that AI Institute as we were planning our policies and think about some of the practices, because AI is still new. We're still learning.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, the district has an AI policy, and there are various practices that we are incorporating across the school district. And so we are able to partner with Google, and so we have members of our team who are Google ambassadors and Google champions. And so internally, we said, we're going to have our Google ambassadors. And then we began to develop our Google champions. Our team has gone to the Google office in Chicago, the office in New York City. They have their Google coaches. So you have to go and get all these various certifications.
Yes.
And so they've done that, which is exciting. And so we've also provided professional learning across the district to our teachers and other staff members, and not just teachers, but people who are also in our operations areas. So people who work in our finance office and such, they became a part of these cohorts so they could learn and see how we work more efficiently as an organization. And we are thrilled about our partnership with Digital Promise, the League of Innovative Schools. And a part of that partnership, one, we have 5 Verizon Innovative Learning Schools. And those 5 Verizon Innovative, I know we're excited about that. Yes, yes, yes. And those 5 schools, all the students receive iPads in each cohort in that school for the next 4 years. So someone who is in, say, 6th grade now, like at Harrison Martin School. So if they have a little brother or someone who's in 5th grade, they'll get an iPad for the next 4 years. We're also receiving funding to help fund some positions. And so the teachers and others are receiving professional development on AI integration. And we also have this particular program called Course Mojo, in which all our 6th grade language arts teachers are using this Course Mojo in order to personalize learning. And that was one of my projects for my Google fellowship, as well as the school that we designed. And we'll talk about the school, but we started with the Institute first. And we had 2 summers of the Institute in progress, in session, and students really learned, and they earned it. Let me talk about the Institute. Let me go back. I'm getting all excited now. So the Institute students receive college credits from DeSales University.
Awesome.
Yes, they also got those industry certifications.
Awesome.
And we paid them $19 an hour to collect data and research in their community to help make their community better. And so we want to thank our friends at the Center for Sustainable Innovation, as well as the Leonard Parker Poole Trust, who was also involved in those efforts, and of course, DeSales University. So we are excited about AI in Allentown School District. Yes. We had to put some of the guardrails in place, so we put before the board, I want to thank my school board of directors, thank you so much, for passing the policy so that we have some guardrails in place, but we're continuing to learn and grow together as an organization. We have to thank the Kuiper Foundation, who through Google, gave us a grant and really did some massive professional learning across our district so that our staff will be equipped. And I want to thank the students because they are going on this journey with us. And before back to community partnerships, we put before my Family Advisory Council, as well as our Student Advisory Council, before we even put forward before the board, the policies and regulations, we got their feedback on how should we integrate AI here in the Allentown School District. All of our staff, they have access to Google Gemini and Notebook LM and all those great things that help do their work better. And some of our staff members, actually everyone has Copilot as well as part of our Microsoft suite. And it's still new. So we're still learning, it's still evolving. We're not where we want to be yet, but our aim is to really personalize learning at scale. So we want to thank our friends from Course Mojo for allowing we were one of few districts across the nation that were selected to pilot this Course Mojo that's integrated into our own curricula. So imagine being a student and you have the AI is sharing based on your ability how things should improve in your paper. So you're writing your paper, AI is like, well, asking you more questions and probing so that you can get a better product, and your teacher is able to see and really personalize the learning just for you. So we are thrilled about this.
That is so awesome.
Yes.
And what I'm hearing more is that our school district is preparing our children not for the jobs that we have, but for the jobs that will be here in the future, right?
Absolutely.
Because the worst thing I think a school can do is to prepare someone for a job that doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly.
So I love that you are innovative, that you are ahead of the curve with all of this. And more importantly, you said you took that to your students and your parents first.
Yes.
So, I don't think people understand how important that was, right? Because decisions are being made all the time. I'm going to put on my parent hat now, right? Decisions are being made all the time that we don't feel like we're a part of.
Yes.
I can say as a parent that that's not a feeling that I've had lately, at least for the year. You send out, now if parents don't get involved it's up to us. But I can say that your communications team has told everyone about the million committees that you started, have invited people to join, right? So if you don't join, that's on you. But it has been started, and I think that's important because we discuss all the things you don't do. It's easy to do that on social media, right? I can tell you, I don't like pink today,
Yes.
even though I do, I can say that because people are always going to find ways to
Sure.
pick,
Sure.
right? But if we don't find ways to celebrate, we miss it. So I want to also spend some time talking about the You Are the Light celebration because it wasn't just a celebration for the kids, which was great. We always want to celebrate the kids, but I saw security staff get celebrated. I saw janitor, get celebrated, as well as your teachers. So people felt like they, I was talking to one of my young men who I know working inside Robb Middle School, and I said, "What are you here for?" He's like, "I'm here for my award." With his
I
chest
love it.
out,
Yes.
and felt good.
Yeah, sure.
So when you do things like that, and you go back to your office, how does those things make you feel, knowing that wasn't here before you? There wasn't a You Are the Light, right? There weren't celebrations of staff, and we're doing more than celebrating just perfect attendance and good grades, which are all great things to support.
Sure.
But what about the kid? You gave a community award for the kid that is doing community stuff. What about those kids? If
Sure.
we don't point them out, they could get lost in the cracks.
Absolutely. We are branding, one, letting your light shine, lighting the way. And that is the title of our strategic plan, Lighting Way, a blueprint for innovation and excellence. And so we are encouraging people throughout our learning community to light the way. Some people do it very quietly. They're very quiet about the things that they're helping to make the lives of others better within our district and outside of the district. We have some people who do it very loudly, and they're catalytic leaders, and they have this charisma and everyone knows them. And so, but it's really important to highlight the great things that are happening, because there's some amazing things that are happening within the district. And it does make me feel good to know that people are touched by that. When I go into schools, as part of getting the award, you get a t-shirt, and on the back says, "I am the light." And you know how many people I've gone into schools, they're like, and they're saying, I'm like, "Hi," and I'm like, "I'm the light, I'm the light." And it's so exciting. I'm like, you are the light.
Yes.
You are lighting the way,
Yes.
not only for yourselves, but your families and for us as a collective learning
Yes.
community. So it is very exciting that we're happening. And I think I didn't talk about, and I talked about some of the good things that weren't here before. We took the AI. I want to go back to AI for just a second.
Yeah.
So what we learned from the AI Institute at the sales, and now we've reimagined one of our high schools, Bridgeview Academy. And so that focus, and that's one of our first theme-based high schools in the district. And the focus is AI, technology, innovation, science, and health. And the reason why we want to focus on those areas is because, of course, there's a demand for technology, health, AI, and we want to prepare our students for the future, as well as and what's to come, and prepare them for the workforce. We have such a rich community here with advanced manufacturing and all these great innovations. Our corporate leaders and our corporate friends, they need to be able to hire individuals. And so we want to equip our students with more project-based learning and more authentic learning opportunities.
I love it. So did Bridgeview Academy, did that replace Building 21?
That is correct. Yes. So
Okay.
yes. So it's Bridgeview Academy of AI, Health, Science, AI, Technology, Innovation, all those good things. Yes.
I see that since you've become superintendent, that STEAM has been a major part
Yes.
of what you're doing. My favorite elementary school principal, sorry to the rest of them, Becky Bodner, that she's been the principal for all of my children, so she's going to
Yes.
be the favorite.
I love that.
She is leading your STEAM Academy
Yes.
with Central.
Yes, yes.
So I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about that because now they're learning, that at the elementary school level, so they don't always have to wait to high school.
Absolutely. So we're really thrilled about our partnership with Central Stream Academy and the Da Vinci Science Center. And so, and a part of that partnership, there's a few aspects of the partnership, but our students are exposed, they take their, and you think about college. So you take your major courses on the main campus. And the Da Vinci Science Center is the secondary campus in which students are taking basically their major, their focus, which will be the stream. But you take the core courses at the main campus. And so students are exposed to hands-on learning at a level, I mean, you'd be amazed. And these are children who are kindergarten to 5th grade. And could you imagine going to school and you go see otters when you go to school, live otters and various displays, and you're making things, you got your fab lab and you're making all, and you're so young. There's a
Yes.
studio over there. Our
Yes.
students also do this, the Stream Academy. They created their own film. We produced the film last year, Passport to Puerto Rico, to showcase the assets and the heritage of Puerto Ricans, that the contributions they're making to the world. And so, and actually it's going to be featured again. We had a red carpet event. Imagine these were children who were the focus that last year is grades 3 to 5. Amazing work. If you have not seen this animation film, Passport to Puerto Rico, please, we'll ensure that you receive, and I think it's on our YouTube channel or page, and so people are able to access Passport to Puerto Rico. So this is all children, K to 5, who produce, and they produced this particular film with the person who was previously the CEO of the company that produced the Rugrats and the Simpsons.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, our friend Mr. Terry Thorne, and he came to Allentown. We had our red carpet event, and he used our movie premiere bill to share with all his other clients and said, Allentown knows how to do this.
That is awesome.
Yes.
That is awesome. One of the things that I've been more impressed by is stuff that you've done outside of the classroom. One of the things that you'll hear me scream every time is poverty is violence. Poverty is violence. We spend a lot of time masking the symptoms. We want to deal with gang violence, gun violence, and those are all things that we need to deal with. But I've always said, when we have more opportunity, we cause less trouble. So I've been excited that since you've been here, has allowed our students to find work both within the school district and with strategic partners.
Yes.
So how did that come about? And because this is year 3 coming up this summer.
Yes. So it's really funny. I have a student advisory council. And so I was meeting with the students. There are about 45 students who come regularly. So each school has representation. So there are about 50 students, but on average, 40, because 45 or so students come each time. So the students said to me, I asked them, what kind of projects would you like to create? They said, Dr. Birks, we need money. We want to make some money. And I saw, and Ms. Reese was in that meeting, and I looked at her like, oh, my communications person, and she said, okay, Dr. Birks, what are you going to do about this? She looked at me. And so what came out of that was the Allentown Youth Internship Corps. And so we pay our students to work in district as well as with partners of areas of interest to them. And so they're working with partners like you, as well as other nonprofits in the community, the hospitals, as well as even in our communications office. And we put the students, we hold them to high standards. Ms. Reese was like, go give Dr. Birks your project, and I send it back. Go back and do it again. And the children are like, whoa, but they've learned so much. We've watched students evolve and just the experiences that they've had. I had an artist in residence. So a gifted artist. And so this year, I've been identified as an inaugural blogger for the American Association of School Administrators.
Awesome.
And that particular organization is the premier superintendent's organization in the nation. And so I'm blogging. and who's every piece that I put out there for now. Their readership is 40,000 people who read their publications. And so they're online. They also have paper publications. And my friend, Jayla Walker, who is now a student at Kutztown, but she was my artist in residence and she still is. And now her work is being seen by more than 40,000. And the majority of the audience is superintendents. And so people write to me and they're like, who is this artist? This is amazing. And I explained how this came about. And so, and she is, I talked to Jayla last week, and she's so thrilled about her experience at Kutztown University. And she's majoring art. She told me she wanted to become a teacher. I hope that does not change.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
so, but just think, out of this experience, now her work is showcased beyond just her school, but here's an authentic learning experience that and she has a portfolio that could say, my work is featured with the American Association of School Administrators. So I have to submit a piece every 6 weeks. And every 6 weeks, there's Jayla's piece. So I'm excited about that. And all the other things that we're doing for students so they have real experiences that they can build their resumes for.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome. I know we've been blessed to be able to help some students open up their own businesses. So in our partnership with you, a lot of kids got an early start to AI. You know, because we've been involved in AI 3 years.
Sure.
You know, so I love that you're providing opportunities for students to find themselves. Right? There is so many different things that are to tell people who you are, instead of giving you an opportunity to learn who you are, what you love, right? And, you know, one of the things John Assaraf, who was in the movie The Secret, says is you hire people who have fun where you work at. But if we don't ever have an opportunity to learn where we have fun at, you know, then it doesn't have to be work. So I love that you're giving these kids an opportunity really to stretch, to grow and explore, you know, and then giving them leadership opportunities. Because you said you have a student advisory committee.
Yes.
I hope those student advisors are documenting, you know, for themselves on their resume, right, what they're doing. Because when they go to XYZ corporation, XYZ college, you know, they can say, you know, I spent 1 year, 2 years on the advisory committee. These are the projects that came from these things. So you're giving them resume fillers without them even noticing.
Absolutely.
You know, so that is amazing. That is amazing. We are in a new school district, if people didn't know, right? We have a new school district, but people are still treating it like the old school district. So as the leader of our school district, what would you like to see done, you know, as community embraces this lead, changes towards your leadership? Because we've done a pretty good job of trying to run you away. You know, some of us have grabbed onto your heels and said, please don't go. Please don't go. But yeah, you know, we have a great job of pushing out leadership. Like I said, 5 superintendents in a 6-year period prior to you. You know, what would you like to see from this community? One, to either embrace what you're doing, embrace you, embrace the students. What would you like?
So, you know, you always give me difficult questions. No, but realistically, there's a lot, our children, I'd like for people to really see, and this is kind of my appeal, to see our children and their families as true assets. They bring such unique culture, heritage, and experiences. I mean, just think about 77% of our students are Latino, and many of them speak Spanish and other languages fluently. I wish I spoke another language fluently. You know, I mean, think about that, how impressive that is. And so, and that people, I guess my additional onto the appeal, that they join us in elevating the work that's happening in a positive way, and they feel as though that we're not doing the work fast enough or the work that they expect, that they join forces with us. And let us utilize their skills and talents, because let me tell you, everyone thinks they could do this job. They have lots of opinions until you sit in this seat. And I don't know everything. So I sincerely, if people think, oh, why are they doing this? And I remember back in 1997, we did this. I want to hear from you. I want you to email us. We have platforms for that. We have so many community forums on every topic. You name it, we have a forum for it. And so we have budget forums. We have things around academics, security, everything, safety. We have board meetings every week. So if there are things that you would like to see, you can email me at superintendent@allentownsd.org, and we will respond if you want to set up meetings with me. But I want this community to believe that the children can win and that the community can win, and think when they came to this area to fall back in love with this community. Because we have a lot of promise and potential to do great things here. And that's my appeal. I don't know everything, but when we say things outside of the house and make people feel badly, it doesn't help things to get better. And I've been doing this a long time in education, so if you can just email me. I can take the constructive feedback. I want it. But let's work together to co-create a system that we all can feel proud of, and most importantly, that our children can win. And so, because we're not just looking at the child, not me, in front of me, I'm looking at the generations to come, to change the life trajectory of the children, because you know why? I was one of them. I'm the only one in my family who has advanced degrees to this level. Every single thing you would think that would say in terms of research would suggest I would not be here today as the superintendent. All the bad things, having people shot in front of your door, having all the stuff. I experienced all, you name it. I don't want to get into details.
You score high on the urban ACEs.
Yes.
Okay.
Very sure. Yes, exactly. And I'm not ashamed of that. Because all those things and all the setbacks that I've had in my career have led me to today. I learned from those things, and I'm used them to help make a difference in the lives of others and to correct some of the things I didn't know.
That is so amazing. And it's so amazing because as someone who works with children who normally score high on the urban ACEs, those are the ones I want, because those are the ones that are usually broken, forgotten, and most of the time just need a hug, right? Sometimes they just need a hug and a reminder that you are somebody.
Absolutely.
Right? So I'm grateful that you were able to share that backstory, right? Because someone needs to know that I too can be Carol Birks, right?
Better than me.
Right? There's a child right now who's living in a broken home, right? Mom and dad just split up, right? There's a child right now who unfortunately saw someone get shot. There's been some gunshots in Allentown, right? Thank goodness none this weekend, but there has been some, right? There's, so we need to know that there are more people like you doing this work. So we thank you for really stepping into your greatness, because it's easy to give up, and not to say any of the superintendents before you gave up, but they took jobs that, don't have the same kind of pressure, it's easy. I don't think people realize, right? Because you said 3,000 employees, right?
Yes.
16,000 students.
Yes. 16,700 students.
So that's about 20,000 people before you add in the parents, right? So we're talking about 40,000 personalities that you have to deal with, and one of them can be mine when my head is spinning. We can. You don't have to be perfect. Is only during the show when you mess with my baby. You better be perfect. Like that is. So I've been hard on you, just like I've been friendly.
Sure.
Because
and you should hold me accountable.
anyone that touches my baby, you know I will. You know, and it's but what I love though, and I want to state this is that you have been accountable, right? It's you aren't always right,
No, I'm not.
and
Nor do I want to be.
and I'm grateful when you admit when you're wrong,
Sure.
right? Because that's the sign of great leadership. You know, it's easy to say, like that Tarzan, thump your chest, I'm the woman, right? I am woman, hear me roar, right? It's easy to do that, right? But it's hard to take the humble pie, right? And say, hey, I wasn't right here.
Sure.
You know, I can do better here. You know, there's been times where I know I've called you and said, you could do better. You know what I mean?
You have.
You know, but I think it's for good leadership, right? We have to be accountable.
Absolutely.
Right.
And have high standards and expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very humble and I'm very grateful, but if you don't do right by the children,
Yes.
we're going to hold you accountable and their
Yes.
families.
Yes, and I think that's so important because the most you have, and I've said this to you off camera, on camera, to your face, behind your back, you have the most important job in our county because you are the superintendent of our schools. So you rear the minds and the hearts of our future.
Along with a lot of other superintendents.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Along with all, and what I love is that you don't wear it alone.
No.
You say I do it, but
When they're my
as
folks.
the superintendent, right? You are the leader of the hearts and minds. You know, if you and
That's a tall bill.
it's a and you know I tell you this all the time. It's a tall bill, you know. But more than what the people are pointing at, right? How do the kids feel, right? How do the kids feel about this change? Because didn't literacy go up in your last year?
In some schools, yes. We've had some literacy increases. We've had some, our discipline rates across the district have gone down. I'd be remiss if I didn't. I love all my schools, but I have to commend Robb Middle School. We're doing a great job of lowering suspension rates by 33%. I mean, we have to give it up for them for that.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's huge because Rob has been our feeder school, you know, as a leader in violence prevention in this county. You know, Rob has been a feeder school for years for gangs. You know, for you guys to actively do something, to try to change the hearts and minds, the thoughts. Like I can tell you prior to you coming here, walking in with a parent, you know, and her telling the kid, just wait after school, we'll get them. Not talk the kid out of the fight, like, no, mom and dad, we're gonna fight too.
Right. Sure.
You know, so for you to lower the rate, for someone, from one of your security guards to walk out with a badge of honor from your,
Oh,
you
yes,
know, we
yes.
are the light,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
like all of those things are huge,
No,
you
you're
know,
right.
for a school district that is misunderstood. You know, prior to you coming here, we were almost taken over by the state. You know, so I know the fight because I have kids in the school district. So to fight being taken over by the state is huge. And how many schools have you opened up since you've been here?
So we reimagined some schools, and so we're excited about Sonia Sotomayor, our dual language immersion school. I'm like, yes, they're doing some great job there. And 50% of our students are English speakers, and 50% are Spanish-speaking students. So they're learning in the class a 50-50 model. So instructions in English and Spanish, and you have to see those amazing young babies. I'm gonna call them my babies. In that school, and I have to commend the team, you know, the administration, Sapante and her team for the great work that's happening, and the families who have really embraced supporting that school. And so we have the Central Stream Academy, and so we opened a new, the Early Jackson, a new early learning center, Ruby Bridges, similar to Jackson, and then so now Bridgeview. And I've only been the real superintendent for 2.5 years now, so.
And that's huge. I mean, we've actually had Anime Hayes as well
Yes.
come
That
aboard,
was- yes,
and
I know.
that's all of these things are so huge because our kids go to school buildings. Some of them, you know, all of them are older than my mother. And my mom is, 75 years old, right? So that's a long time. Like to walk into a school and try to update, right? All of the things, right? Where, sometimes it's just better to just knock it down and start all over again, you know? And you've been bold in bringing schools to life, bold in reimagining schools, bold in. I never liked Building 21. I'm just gonna be honest. I didn't like the name of it. I'm glad that it's got a new feeling, even though I loved, your principal. He's, I love him. He's a second generation, Mr. Rosado. I love you.
Yes, yes.
He's second generation. I love his father, who also was a school principal in our area. But I hated Building 21. I did. And I know I was one of the people that complained out loud, right? So to have a school that is now equipping our students for the future, where I thought the idea of Building 21 was amazing, and it's different between idea and execution, so it fell short somewhere in execution, but now health, right? The health and wellness, even with, the advent of robots and AI, they're always going to need humans in health and wellness, right?
Absolutely.
We always need a human touch. We need someone to say, baby, it's going to be okay, right?
Absolutely.
AI, and I tell people it's not going to be AI that replaces you. It's going to be people who understand AI that
Absolutely.
replaces
That's so
you.
true. Yes.
So to give our kids these strategic advantages in a public school,
Sure.
right? It's not a charter school. No shot to charter schools, right? But charter schools in Pennsylvania hurt public schools, unfortunately, because of the way the funding structure is set up. Even though I have friends and I have people I love at charter schools, right? Not gonna take any shot, but each student that leaves our school district is darn near 30,000 that was removed from our school district. That's a lot of money, and I don't think people understand the difference, right? So for you to provide a real alternative,
Sure.
For the public school system is a kudos to you. And how long did you say you've been with us?
2.5 years as the real superintendent and 3 years in the area. I was acting first.
All right, so in 3 years, we've gotten a couple schools open, right? We've gotten a couple things reimagined. We've had some literacy rate go up. We have AI in our school. So who can say what the next 3 years could do if we stop kicking you, huh?
Well, you know what? I forgot to mention, which is really exciting. We're finally going to open a K-8 school on the east side of Allentown. Yay! K-8 school, state-of-the-art school, will accommodate 1,200 students.
Awesome.
And the Bridgeview campus, we are going to enhance that campus to become a 612 school. And we're building a family and community resource center. And that center will have centralized registration. And we will also have lots of opportunities for the community to come into that facility. We'll offer classes, we'll offer mental health services, we'll have health services. So we'll have a clinic on that site. And all these things will be open within the next 2 to 3 years. So we're excited about that.
And I tell you, the hour goes quickly. So before we get too far, I want you to be able to tell people, first of all, where to find everything for ASD, how they can donate. Because we are still a school district that needs some money. How they can donate.
I didn't tell him to say this.
I'm a parent. So I'm saying it. I put my parent hat on, let me flip it back to the front. Right? As a parent, we need some money. We have great kids doing some great things, but, we need more input, right? So where can people find ASD? Because there's always going to be someone that says, I don't know how to find it. So tell them how to find you online.
So you can find us on our website, AllentownSchoolDistrict.org. You can also follow us on our social channels. And so we have a Facebook page, Instagram, we have LinkedIn, and we post a lot. You can also email me directly at superintendent at allentownsd.org. SD is schooldistrict.org. And so, and we have something called the Top 5. And so we send out, we have more than 20,000 people who receive our weekly newsletter. It's just 5 top things you need to know. And so you can receive all information about the district. You also can email my communications team. Ms. Melissa Reese leads that for us. And you can email her at Reese M. She's like, uh-oh, Dr.
Yeah,
Reese.
I was going. Don't worry. Don't worry. I was going to give her her email.
Yes, and so she'll be
My
happy to
stylish friend.
share with you all the great things that the district has to offer. If you're also interested in volunteering, you know, I have many groups. I have an interfaith council. We have a business council that we also student council. We have all kinds of ways for you to engage. We have school governance councils in our schools, so we're looking for community partners to be a part of that. And a part of that school governance, and we're having a kickoff next week, so we're really excited about this. So each school will have essentially like an advisory board to the school, each school location. And so we have a big kickoff. We have presenters, national presenters coming in to launch this. It will be held at the PPL Center. And so, and then we will have schools help with more decision making and really co-create. So people say, we don't have a voice. Well, they're going to have a representative voice at each school, and they'll have some influence on how the school is organized and help inform the principal in some decision making. So to help move the school forward and its school improvement efforts. So
That is awesome. So there is a lot. If someone is just sitting on the sidelines complaining, right? There's a lot for them to actually get involved in, make a difference, you know, point a finger from the inside, not from the outside, right? So I love that you have engagement, and our communications director, Miss Reese, great person,
Yes, she is.
and really being able to get those messages out. I know one of the things we've been talking about a lot more is just sharing more of the greatness within your school district, because there's how many people got You Are the Light awards? Probably close to 100, right?
So each month we recognize anywhere between 50 to 75 people, but that event you attended, there were 377 people at that event. And on average, we have about 250 to 300 people come out to cheerlead and root on their families, their friends, and you're right. Anyone, we even have community awards at many of those sessions that we have, those You Are the Light. It's a 1-hour program. And so would be remiss if I don't thank our partners who help sponsor. And this year, and not like we're not looking like back, let's talk about the money, but we have the foundation is supporting, the Allentown School District Foundation is helping to be one of the platinum sponsors for that event. And so all the proceeds goes to the recipients and their families, because we provide food. And so if you want to be a platinum sponsor, we will take, and it's a very small donation, it's only $5,000, so we're not talking millions of dollars, to help make people feel special and recognized in the work that they do every day in service to our learning community.
And that is so important, and again, donate, that's me, that's my parent hat, going donate to the school district, donate to the good work, donate to You Are the Light. One of the things as the happiness engineer, I talk about increasing, an attitude of gratitude, right? Celebrating one another. That's a great opportunity for people to get involved in celebrating our community. It's the news will give you all of the negative, right? We have an opportunity to be the Good News Network, right?
Yes,
We can
it.
be the Good News Network by, M. Reese at
Reese M.
Reese M at
Yes.
no. But we can be the Good News Network by doing this kind of great work,
Yes.
continuing to share these stories, and by people donating, right, so that we can actually push those stories out. You know, at a school district, when you don't donate, then they have to tax. It's not because they want to, so donate. Give, 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 because it's necessary, right? So I think a lot of times we don't understand um, the balance of what you're doing. So I thought it was more important. AllentownSchoolDistrict.org, I'm gonna say it again, because we're almost at the end. Give, right? And it's important, right? We laugh at it. We had a chance to have some fun with it,
Sure.
but you know, when a school district is at its strongest, and I think one of the reasons why it is growing to be as strong as it is right now is because of community input.
Yes.
And that doesn't just mean giving dollars, you can give time. If you give time, right, someone may see you give time and they may give us dollars, right? So if you give, share your giving so others can give more. So yeah.
And I want to leave this with you. This is an overview of what we've done, our progress, year one of our strategic plan. When I entered the district, I said that we would be forthcoming with the information about where we are and the progress that we've made thus far. This document is called Lighting the Way, a Blueprint for Innovation Excellence, our year one progress. You can find this, it's a flip book on our website. So you say, what am I giving to? Because people want to invest in winning teams, right? You want to see where the seeds that you're planting are going. So here's some of the progress that we've made. Our strategic plan is on our website. So if you want to know anything about our strategic plan and the direction we are going, please do that. If you want to volunteer, and like you said, yes, we'd love to have those dollars, but building on someone's intellectual capital is also important. And so we'd love to have you engage in volunteering. You want to tutor, you want to mentor, all those things. You can write to us and we'd be welcome to have you join our team in doing that and all those things.
I thank you for this. You see, I'm gonna put on my big smile, right? Because, you know, this is what transparency looks like. You know, if you want to know, you can go and you can see. You can go online. You know, because she knows I'm about to give this back to her because don't kill no trees for me. You know, I'm still green. You know, so I'm gonna read it. Actually, I'm gonna keep it because my granddaughter probably wanted it. So, but normally I would give it back. I love that you're doing this, that people can now see and they can see where their money's going, donate. They can see why they're gonna donate. They can see how our kids are growing, donate. And poverty is violence, donate. So yes, thank you. Thank you for this. Thank you for spending your time. And we're almost at the end. So I'm gonna ask you to do what all of my other guests have done with me, and that's say my personal manifesto.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say it all the way through, and then we'll do a call and response because it's too hard to remember.
Okay, good.
All right. So my
I was like, there are tests?
No. So my personal manifesto is simple. It's I love me. I'm worthy. Some people may not like me, but I don't care because the people that matter will be glad that I'm here. So we're gonna do it in call and response.
Okay.
I love me.
I love me.
I'm worthy.
I'm worthy.
Some people may not like me,
Some people may not like me,
but I don't care
but I don't care.
because the people that matter
So the people that matter
will be glad that I'm here.
will be glad that I'm here.
And we are glad that you spent this hour with us, Dr. Birks. We are glad that we were able to share the hard work that you're doing. We are glad that we are able to show this strategic plan. We are grateful that we have one of the top 25 superintendents in the nation in our school district. We are grateful that you are open to share your story, to inspire someone behind you, and that you are just one of the lights that are lighting other candles, right?
Thank you.
My mentors told me it doesn't hurt a candle to light another candle, and you're lighting them all the way down the road. So we thank you.
Thank you.
We thank you. So this is another
Thank you.
episode of You Don't Have to Be Perfect. Next week we have Carol Destine on, and she'll be talking about some of the great work that she's doing in the Latino community. But you were blessed to have Dr. Carol Birks with us, so just tune in for next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
always